Good Sunday evening, everybody. Welcome back to me drawing every day for a year. This is weeks number 41 and 42. First, I have to apologize. My mic is acting up, so I'm using the mic off my phone, and it's probably poor audio, but I think it'll get the point across. So anyways, let's get into it. The first spread is a result of me watching Mission Impossible 7. It inspired me to draw this particular gentleman. I think Tom Cruise was wearing this crazy amazing trench coat in the opening scene. The desert wind was whipping his tailcoats, and I thought, wow, I got to draw a guy in a trench coat. So this is the resulting figure that came from my imagination. Tom Cruise inspired. And I have a fascination with goggles as well, so I incorporated goggles into this particular figure. And as you do after you complete a trench-coated figure with goggles, you draw other figures with goggles, and you even draw a horse with goggles, or red eyes in that instance. And as one does, once they draw a horse with red eyes, you draw a gorilla with red eyes and a gorilla holding a fishing pole. Yeah, don't ask. It just came about. My really underused imaginative part of my brain did this. I apologize. Moving on. Back to the hospital. My dad is still there. He's doing better now. Thank you. And my sisters and I tend to sit with him. My sisters during the day, and I tend to take evening shifts. And we don't see each other that often, so it was really lucky that my younger sister and our paths crossed that particular night. She was knitting. She's a big knitter, and I got to draw her. And how I approached drawing my sister knitting, because knitting is such a repetitive act. The hands and fingers always go back to the same position at some point. So I just stared at her hands for a few minutes and sort of got into the rhythm of how they worked. And this is the resulting drawing. So if you turn from that vantage point of where I drew my sister, turn 130 degrees to your right, you'll see this particular scene of my father. I wanted to capture a more expansive area of his room at that point, and that's I'm pretty happy with this. I got his meal table, I got him reclined up. I think he was mid-bite of eating a banana there. And yeah, if you're interested, he had grilled chicken strips, banana, boost drink, and oatmeal raisin cookie that particular evening. So from that last vantage point, if you turn to your left 30 degrees, tilt your head upwards 15 degrees, you will see this scene. What really intrigued me about this particular room my dad was staying in was all the gadgets, particularly this hoist that ran on this track that hovered above the bed that helped patients up who couldn't get up on their own. And then of course the blood pressure machine and it looked like, I don't know what that is, but all the gadgets and the gauges and the outlets. Quite a interesting scene to sketch. So that ends the drawings. That ends the drawings of my large sketchbook. So let's hop into my small sketchbook. This particular scene is of a group of gentlemen who gather every Sunday morning, I think. Just from how they talk to each other and their body language, they're very used to each other. I guess that's what retirees do. They come together, have a coffee, talk for a few hours, and enjoy each other's company. Girls sleeping on the subway, something I really enjoy drawing, sleeping subway figures. And the good thing about subway drawing is that you don't know when your subject is going to get off at their stop. So it's your responsibility to draw the basic form, the overall form. Just get the big masses down, and if you have time, and I think I did have time in this particular drawing because I drew the pattern work of a scarf, you get back in there and draw the detail. But my approach for subway drawing is draw the large masses and then go back if you have time for the details. And I know I had time because I drew, like I said, the pattern on her scarf, but also the woman behind her. My co-workers Taylor and Majid. If you've seen my past sketchbook tours, Majid is a frequent subject who I draw. And this particular drawing of Majid is probably one of the better ones of him. that I've depicted, everything in this drawing is tight, meaning that the eyes, the nose, the ears, the relationship to each other, they're correct. And the angle is correct, and you know that's Majid if you were to see him in real life. Another subway drawing, this young gentleman holding his iPhone, maybe Android, and his mouth slightly ajar. I really like that. Back to the hospital, the lobby entrance where there was a Starbucks, and I had a few minutes before I went up to my dad's room again, and this particular gentleman was at one of these tables working on his laptop, and perfect situation for me to draw him from behind so he didn't notice and wasn't fidgety at all. This particular spread, a write-off spread, this is my coworker Emmanuel. He gave me 5 minutes and 5 minutes only, and this is what I got. And then I wasn't happy with that drawing during the day, so I came home late at night, probably from the hospital, and drew my arch nemesis, the hexagonal sided top table, side table in my living area. It's a write-off. Let's move on. This is Majid again. I like the first drawing of him more. My father at the hospital eating a banana, or no, soup, I think. We brought him soup that night. And what I liked about this particular scene is that there's all this stuff on his table. You had to sort of visually work through that stuff to get to my father, and I want to convey that in the drawing. So I was quite heavy-handed with the elements on his tabletop, and then quite delicate with my line work when I depicted my father. So I like that contrast. And as you do after a hospital meal, you take a nap. There's my father taking a nap. And this particular gentleman, when I walked on the subway, I was like, I gotta draw him. But the seat across from him was occupied, and I made a plea to the universe that the couple that was sitting in that chair opposite him leave the next stop. And the universe answered. They left. And I swooped in, sat down, and draw this particular gentleman. The best part of this drawing I like is his left hand here. It kind of embodies the philosophy I'm trying to pursue with my drawing, is that I want to put down the minimal amount of line work to convey the most information. So every line, I think, in this hand needs to be there to convey that it's a hand. And in a particular gesture, how it's sort of like relaxed, hanging off the bag. And also the cross-hatching is necessary to convey that the ring finger and index finger, the top of them, are slightly curved back, receding back. So I think that works really well. Next drawing is of my father and an alien plant figure, as you do. It's a sketchbook, so you do it. This next drawing, another late night drawing. I came home late. I wanted to draw I actually didn't have any idea what I wanted to draw that night, so I followed the motto, draw whatever is in front of you. So I draw the random elements on the coffee table. I like how they were just laid out there, but when I finished the drawing, it didn't have the same gravitas that my portrait drawings have. So I drew these containers over it, trying to hide up this drawing. But, you know, I'm not too sure if it took away or added to it. But, you know, it's a sketchbook, so let's move on. Drawings of my cat, Kimchi. She's always in motion, so it was a tough exercise to try to put her down on paper. You should try it. It's a good exercise. And, of course, the last spread to week 42 is my father. The upside of my father being in the hospital is that he's getting better, one. And two, I get to spend time with him and draw him and try to put him down on paper and figure out the nuances of his face. And I think I'm getting closer, but I'm not there yet. And I'm certainly not embodying the philosophy that I've just told you about, putting the minimal amount of line work in to get the maximal amount of information. These two are really heavy-handed drawings, I feel, but it's my dad, so you know it's my dad when you look at it, but I will try to edit more in the future. So anyways, thank you for joining me. This is weeks number 41 and 42. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great week. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.